Welcome to One Africa Mission with your brother Dobia Anzanse. Today we're going to Zimbabwe. And then please, before we go to Zimbabwe, I would like to say thank you to everybody who have so far subscribed to our YouTube channel and then also like our Facebook page. And then we appreciate your support. And then for those of you who haven't really got time out of your busy schedules to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, we encourage you to do so. Our mission is to see a united Africa. We are missionaries. The only solution to the problems of Africa is a united Africa. That is what we believe. And then we can see a wind of change blowing everywhere in the four corners of Africa or in the world towards Africa. So because of that, you see great men and women like Dr. Susan Tata, Pan-African Daily TV, doing a great job for the good of our mother Africa. We can see Imaya changing the narrative of Africa. And then we can see our brother in America, Organic African Paradigm, great teacher. He's teaching us great men and women like Dr. Yusuf Ben Yohani, Dr. Henry Clark, those where they left. He's continue from there. And then we have our African Continental Party, also ACUP, led by great guys, which I'm also a member. Join one of these groups. Let us all bring our energies together and then to see a greater Africa. Africa is in the middle of a crossroad of history. We cannot continue to running away from Africa, dying in the Mediterranean Sea, dying in the desert, trying to cross to where trying in search of a better life, where the better life in those places we think is just an illusion. It doesn't even exist. We believe that the only way Africa can achieve her potential is a united Africa. So we're going to we're getting this from Africa News, and what is it saying? Zimbabwe bans all lithium export. You know, the country Zimbabwe has suffered a lot in the hands of the imperialists. We know the entire continent of Africa has suffered and is still suffering in the hands of these imperialists. That's why we are calling for a united Africa. But Zimbabwe in particular, or some countries in particular, have suffered a lot. One of them is Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe, from the days of Cecil Rose, whom the British Crown sent to Africa to go grab lands, to go steal land. And then when he went there, he saw land and then he saw the riches. And then he couldn't hide his greed. And then to say that they need to grab more land. And truly they did grab more land until our forefathers stood up and then fought them and then kicked them out and gained our independence. And then after gaining our independence, these greedy bastards, sorry to say, were still holding on to these lands until Mugabe said, no, enough is enough, we need our lands back. And then when Mugabe took the lands back, what did they do? They put sanctions after sanctions after sanctions on Zimbabwe, just to cripple Zimbabwe and use Zimbabwe as an example for other African countries not to repeat. They'll call it mistakes, but for us, we saw that it was necessary. So they sanctions, and they put too many sanctions on Zimbabwe, and then Zimbabwe struggle economically till today. Zimbabwe is still struggling, but thanks to the leadership of Zimbabwe today, Zimbabwe is now waking up to herself, and then this should be an example to other African countries. The move by Zimbabwe should be an example to other African countries. And then not only take the move of Zimbabwe as an example, but we should do everything to make sure that Zimbabwe succeed. Because that is what the imperialists always do. When you come out, or when leadership come out with an initiative to free their country, from depending on them, then they will make sure that they will cripple that country to show as an example, just as they did to Libya, just as they did to Muammar Gaddafi. Gaddafi was trying to bring in gold dinar and all that. Today Zimbabwe is doing it, and we all saw what they did to Gaddafi. The same thing, Thomas Sankara in Burkina Faso. What he wanted to do and what he was even able to achieve within 4 years We all saw what they did to him. The same thing, Patrice Lumumba, Kwame Nkrumah. So anytime a leadership or a leader in Africa said he want to work for his people or for his country, the imperialists will come after him. So we are just urging our people, and most of the time they will use our own people to bring the regime down or the government down. So we're urging our people in Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe is for us. Zimbabwe is our property. Whatever move our leaders have taken to free Zimbabwe, to see Zimbabwe as independent country, we should all support with our spirit, with our energy, with our knowledge. We should all support our leaders to see them succeed. Because if they succeed, if Zimbabwe succeed, it will benefit us, not only them. It will benefit us, and the entire continent of Africa can learn from that, and then free the continent from this imperialist. So what has Zimbabwe done? They said Zimbabwe banned all lithium export. And then we're getting this, as I said, from African News. Zimbabwe has banned all lithium export after the government said it was losing 170 billion euros from exporting it as a raw material, not processing it into batteries in the country. So Zimbabwe has been exporting lithium to Western countries, because this is a raw material they use for electric vehicles and mobile phones and computers. So Zimbabwe has been exporting it as raw material, and Zimbabwe now come to realize that no, as exporting it, we are losing. Just imagine, we are losing 1.7 billion euros for exporting it raw. So you can imagine just one particular mineral, a country is losing 1.7 billion. Yet we'll go to America, and then the American president will be promising us 55 billion, and then making it look like they are doing us a favor or it's something special. Just so imagine just one product. How about our other materials, raw materials? Because Zimbabwe have abundance of different raw materials, and just one particular one, they are losing 1.7 billion. What about others? So this should tell you, this is the reason why Kwame Nkrumah said Africa is not poor. Africa is rich but not poor.
It's rich and not poor. Africa has immense actual and potential wealth. Gold, diamond, copper, manganese, bauxite, iron ore, uranium, asbestos, chrome, cobalt, a host of other minerals.
Okay, so let's continue. Lithium is so valuable as a component of electric batteries, mostly for cars, mobile phones, and computers. It is known as the white gold. The price has gone up by 1,100% in the past 2 years. Just in the past 2 years, the price of lithium has gone up by 1,100%, because we all know that as we speak today, everybody is rushing into electric cars. And not only are they using it for electric cars battery, they're also using it for mobile phones and computers. So for that matter, it has been named as the white gold. And for the past 2 years, it has been increased from 1,100%. You see? And we see, and most of the time when they are talking about this increment, that increment, when they are talking about that, you think, and they are talking about the profit that they are making, and then you think of where they are getting the raw materials, and the people there cannot even have water to drink, good hospitals, good roads, and the people there cannot have that. And then you ask yourself, what is happening? What is happening, especially in Africa? It is only when it comes to Africa, they're always desperate to make sure that they are getting our raw materials for free. But Zimbabwe say no, enough is enough. And I can remember even the president of Nigeria also came out and said to Elon Musk that no, we cannot continue to allow you people to be taking our lithium as raw materials. If you want it, you need to come to Nigeria and build a factory and then start doing it in Nigeria. And then you see, most of the time, all these beautiful, courageous things that our leaders are doing, we don't hear it. When President Buhari said it, we didn't hear it, nobody said it. But if he has done something negative, you will see our people jump on calling him names, abusing him. It's about time we stop abusing our leaders and realize that our leaders want to work. It's just that the imperialists are pointing guns on their head, do not work for your people. So we thank the leadership of Zimbabwe, the courage that they have taken. But as we said, we must do everything as citizens of Zimbabwe to support our leaders. We shouldn't just leave them alone. We must support them. So it said for the past 2 years, the lithium price have increased for 1,100%. Zimbabwe has the largest amount of the mineral in Africa. And has enough of it to supply a fifth of the world needs, the government said. So Zimbabwe is the largest. They have the largest in Africa, and then have enough to supply a fifth of the world need. That is about 20% of the world need. So Zimbabwe alone can supply the world about 20% of lithium. And then lithium today, as they said, is the white gold. You understand? While it is on track to become one of the world's largest lithium exporters, the government says it should start its own battery industry rather than allow foreign companies to dominate battery production. So the leadership of Zimbabwe said, no, instead of exporting it as raw materials to those countries, and they are making profit, and they are telling how much we make in a year. This is the profit we made in the year. Instead of doing that, it's about time we too, as Zimbabweans, as the government of Zimbabwe, establish the companies, the industry in our country, and then employ our people. Okay, and if you do that, that is where you will see the Zimbabwean youth stop running to different countries. That is the only way Africa should do. That is the only solution to the problems of Africa. Establish the companies in our own countries, so that we will know, if we are able to do that, we will not see our children dying in the Mediterranean Sea, trying to cross to different countries. If we do that, we will not see our children dying in the desert, being abused in Arabia, being abused all over in China, all over the world, because they are looking for so-called greener pastures, which does not even exist. And this is very important. This is very important. And then because if succeed, it will mark a sea change for Zimbabwe economy. So if Zimbabwe is able to succeed and then establish its own industry for battery, for lithium, instead of exporting it raw to these Western countries, if Zimbabwe is able to do it, establish our own companies, employ our own people, not only will it generate employment for the youth of Zimbabwe, but also economically, it will make Zimbabwe a first world country. It will automatically make Zimbabwe a first world country. The challenge will be, will this imperialist allow Zimbabwe to succeed? Because if Zimbabwe succeed, other countries will do. Nigeria has the same thing. Nigeria has lithium. Other countries, Congo has lithium. Ghana recently, I think in Western Ghana or Ghana recently discovered lithium. Not in large quantities like Zimbabwe, because Zimbabwe is the largest in Africa. But at least if Zimbabwe succeed, then Ghana should realize that no, we should also do same. Cameroon should know that we should also do same. Congo should know that we should also do same, and all these countries. So will they allow Zimbabwe to succeed? No, they won't. But what should we do? Other African countries should support Zimbabwe to succeed. Because a successful Zimbabwe is a successful Africa. That is what we should start to be thinking as African people. That one of us succeed, we all succeed. Because today we are all speaking the same language. Language of unemployment, language of poverty, language of lack of water to drink, language of... We all speak the same language. To a citizen of Zimbabwe speak, you would think he's coming from Cameroon. Listening to a Cameroonian citizen speak, you think he's coming from DRC. Listening to having a conversation with a citizen of DRC, you think he's coming from Ghana. So we all speak one language, and what language is that? A language of suffering, language of unemployment, language of disease. Okay, but if the initiative that the bold step that Zimbabwe is taking, if they are able to succeed, and this is where it is very important, because this is what it's saying. It said if it succeeds, it will mark a sea change of Zimbabwe economy. It will now make Zimbabwe an independent country. Zimbabwe will now free herself from all the shackles and that Western imperialists led by the United States has put Zimbabwe in. So we thank the leadership of Zimbabwe, and we are behind you on this. We are behind the leadership of Zimbabwe on this. We will do everything we can to support you, the citizens of Zimbabwe. Anytime I said I call myself a citizen of a different country, people do ask me, but as a Pan-Africanist, I see myself, and as somebody who is more focused on a united Africa, I see myself as an African. Anytime I'm speaking about an issue regarding to a particular African country, at that particular time, I'm a citizen of that country. So if you see me speaking about an issue in Congo, you will hear me talking about we Congolese, because at that particular time I'm a Congolese. If you see me talking about issue in Ghana, at that particular time I'm a Ghanaian. If you see me speaking about a particular topic in Eswatini, you see me that particular time I'm a citizen of that country. If you see me speaking about something about Malawi, Namibia, at that particular time I'm a citizen of that particular country. So we, the citizens of Zimbabwe, we should do everything that we can to support our leaders on this particular bold step that they are taking, because the imperialists will not leave them alone to do this. That is a fact. They will not. They will either create instability, or before we will realize there will be some civil unrest or some chaos going on, because these are masters of chaos. These imperialists are masters of chaos, and then we must know that, and then we as citizens must do everything we can to support our leaders. Come out with this bold or succeed on this bold step that they are taking, and other African countries should do everything that they can to support Zimbabwe succeed, because a successful Zimbabwe means a successful Africa. If Zimbabwe succeed, Africa will succeed, and if Zimbabwe fail, I am telling you, other countries will not do same for their people. And then it's our time, as we said, for Africa to rise. This is Africa's time, and then we must do everything that we can to support Africa. So I thank you very much for coming. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, One Africa Mission. And pass your comments. Your comments are very important, because as we engage in conversations, that is where we come out with ideas as to what we can do to see this United Africa dream become a reality. As I keep saying, we, the new generation of Africans, we have the chance never before afforded to any generation of Africans to see this dream of our forefathers become a reality.